Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a webinar on sugar. So my name is Dr. Cassidy. I am a wife of that handsome guy Trevor and a mom of three. And that being said, being a mom and a wife and a business owner, I know, just like y'all, time is valuable. So we started doing these webinars so that you could listen to them and learn on your own time. You know, after you put the kids to bed, early Saturday morning, you're up early and you want to learn a little. You can click on these and watch these anytime that you want. But I know that being a doctor, it really means that you are a teacher. And so we do these little webinars just to help you teach the Rockwall community and moms on what we know. We are the masters of the spine and the nervous system, but we know other information that we want to share with y'all. And so today we're going to be talking about sugar. This is a big one for me because I really don't realize I don't think people realize where sugar is and how it can really affect these kids. So our goals today is to understand why sugar is bad for your health, how the food industry hides sugar, and what you can do about it. So we are T3 Chiropractic. We are located in Rockwall, Texas. We specialize in pediatrics and pregnancy. I know that you can see a list of symptoms down there like asthma, constipation, allergies. Those are just some of the things that we see decrease in our office. I'm not saying I treat any of these or cure any of these, but I truly believe you take the tools that we teach you and you will see a decrease in these. Getting your nervous system functioning at 100%, you can get to the root of the problem. So if you want more information about our office, give us a call or find us on Facebook. So why we specialize in kids? So I think our healthcare system needs a little bit help. We are constantly treating the problem and not trying to fix the cause. So my goal is to teach these kids, these moms, that we need to get back to figure out why these things are happening and treat from the cause instead of giving antibiotic and not really knowing why these kids keep on getting sick. So, just like the dentist did, where the dentist, everybody knows to get their teeth checked every 6 months, it's my goal in my lifetime to have kids know that they need to get their spine checked, get a scan, and make sure that everything's functioning at 100% because the nervous system does control everything in your body. So, let's get started with this video.
The epidemic here is worse than previously estimated, much worse.
The message has been pushed on us. It's your fault you're fat.
Shouldn't be so hard to get them to run around and play, right?
They have voracious appetites and they don't exercise enough.
It's about how active our kids are.
Forget about it. There are 600,000 food items in America. 80% of them have added sugar. Your brain lights up with sugar just like it does with cocaine or heroin. You're going to become an addict. You end up with one of the great public health epidemics of our time. This is the first generation of American children expected to lead shorter lives than their parents.
I am 12 years old and my doctors have said that I am a statistic.
We're blaming willpower, and it's a crime.
Over 95% of all Americans will be overweight or obese in 2 decades.
We're toast as a country. The sugar industry is extraordinarily powerful. They're in business to make money, not to keep America healthy.
What if our whole approach to this epidemic has been dead wrong?
The government is subsidizing the obesity epidemic.
To place private profit ahead of public health. Systematic political failure.
By 2050, 1 out of every 3 Americans will have diabetes.
Those diseases are being driven by sugar.
This is the fundamental problem nobody's talking about in society.
We could cure 80% of the problem where they prepared the food in the school.
Tomato paste is a vegetable? Really?
Junk food companies are acting very much like tobacco companies did 30 years ago. I would reject entirely any argument that they are in any way harmful.
Lying through their teeth.
Kids are being told the biggest lie they will ever hear in their lives.
Ronald McDonald never sells to children. He informs and inspires through magic and fun.
If a foreign nation were doing that to our children, we would defend our families.
Years from now, we're going to say, I can't believe we let them get away with that.
You have to change the diet of America. It's all preventable.
So, what they're saying is too much added sugar doesn't just make us fat, it's making us sick. Eating too much sugar has been proven to cause liver disease, diabetes, heart disease, most of all cancer. I know that all of y'all either know somebody or are family of somebody that has had cancer because it's everywhere right now, and nobody can really figure out how to treat cancer. So my solution would be, let's figure out how to prevent it from growing in your body. Let's get an environment in your body where cancer can't grow, and one of those things is removing sugar as much as you can. Sugar feeds cancer. Sugar feeds viruses. Sugar is just a bad environment for your body. Most things can grow and feed on sugar. The average American consumes 75 pounds of added sugar each year. No wonder we're having a problem with obesity and health and sickness. Added sugar is hidden in 80% of the foods, but can you find them? So, for instance, here is a nutrition label for Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Of course, you know there's a lot of sugar because it says 11 grams of sugar. But you need to go into the ingredients to find what all kind of hidden sugars are in there. So can you find the hidden sugars in here? We'll highlight them. There's sugar. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways that it's put into our foods, all different ways. When my husband went to Mexico, one thing that they had taught them is, of course, you want to look at the calories and sugars and all that in the labels, but the most important is going to the ingredients. What we were doing, which we need to get back to, is buying stuff that had 5 ingredients or less, and all the ingredients that we could read. Like starting with the whole grain oats. Everything else under here, we really don't need to be putting in our body. So drinking 1 can of soda a day increases your chance of dying from heart disease by 30%. So, and this is really sad because I see kids drinking Coke more and more with almost every meal of the day. I know a lot of parents are like, oh, just 1 a day, but increasing your chances of dying from heart disease by 30%, we're forming bad habits. And one easy way to decrease sugar in these kids is just not allowing them to have soda. Too much added sugar can overload critical organs over time, leading to serious disease. So this lady did some research on high fructose corn syrup. It was pretty interesting. Let's watch.
Studies done by Kimber Stanhope, a nutritional biologist at the University of California, Davis, are starting to back him up. She's in the middle of a groundbreaking 5-year study which has already shown strong evidence linking excess high fructose corn syrup consumption to an increase in risk factors for heart disease and stroke. That suggests calories from added sugars are different than calories from other foods.
The mantra that you hear from most nutritionists is that a calorie is a calorie is a calorie.
And I think the results of the study showed clearly that is not true.
Stanhope's conclusions weren't easy to come by. Nutrition studies are expensive and difficult. Stanhope has paid groups of research subjects to live in this hospital wing for weeks at a time, under a sort of 24-hour lockdown. They undergo scans and blood tests. Every calorie they ingest meticulously weighed and prepared.
They're never out of our sight. So we do know that they are consuming exactly what we need them to consume.
And they're not sneaking Any candy bars on the
Right.
side.
Yeah, exactly.
For the first few days, participants eat a diet low in added sugars, so baseline blood levels can be measured.
So remember, you guys have to finish all your Kool-Aid.
Then 25% of their calories are replaced with sweetened drinks, and Stanhope's team starts drawing blood every 30 minutes around the clock. And those blood samples? They revealed something disturbing.
And what are you starting to see?
We found that the subjects who consumed high fructose corn syrup had increased blood levels of LDL cholesterol and other risk factors for cardiovascular disease
How quickly did these changes occur?
within 2 weeks.
Kimber Stanhope's study suggests that when a person consumes too much sweet stuff, the liver gets overloaded with fructose and converts some of it into fat. Some of that fat ends up in the bloodstream and helps generate a dangerous kind of cholesterol called small dense LDL. These particles are known to lodge in blood vessels, form plaque, and are associated with heart attacks.
Did it surprise you when you first got these results back?
I would have to say I was surprised because when I saw our data, I started drinking and eating a whole lot less sugar. I would say our data surprised me.
Turns out sugar is much more addictive than I think we had sort of realized early on.
Eric Stice, a neuroscientist at the Oregon Research Institute, is using functional MRI scanners to learn how our brains respond to sweetness.
Sugar activates the brain in a special way that's very reminiscent of drugs like cocaine.
That's right, cocaine.
All right, let's give it a shot.
I climbed into the MRI scanner to see how my brain would respond. That's a straw that's been rigged to deliver a tiny sip of soda into my mouth.
Stay as still as you can, okay?
Just as it hit my tongue, the scanner detected increased blood rushing to certain regions of my brain. In these images, the yellow areas show that my reward region is responding to the sweet taste. Dopamine, a chemical that controls the brain's pleasure center, is being released, just as it would in response to drugs or alcohol.
So dopamine's released. That sort of makes me feel good. I'm experiencing some pleasure from having this kick.
Right, that euphoric effect.
So far be it for people to realize this, because sugar is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying this is one of the most addictive substances possibly that we have.
So this is a big, big problem. As you saw at the very end of that, is the sugar is also affecting our brain.
Here at Brown University in Rhode Island, they're doing studies they think should make a lot of humans nervous. This rat is perfectly healthy. Put him in a vat of water and he finds his way to safety every time.
5.2.
Now, look at this guy. What he's been eating is the equivalent of a North American diet, complete with all the fats and sugars we regularly consume. He doesn't know where to go. His brain has been damaged.
So, what do you think this sugar and this how we're eating is affecting our kids' brain activity? What does the sugar industry have to say? Well, of course they're gonna promote it in a way that sugar is okay, which it's not good. It doesn't give you energy. These are some old ads, and it's just crazy that people believe that sugar is good for you. This is a guy that's a part of the Sugar Association, and listen to what he says.
As it relates to obesity, there's been plenty of science that exonerates sugar, that clarifies sugar does not contribute to obesity or diabetes.
I mean, this is what they're saying. I mean, if you believe that, I don't know where you've been under a rock, but it is definitely not true. And then here's a medical doctor.
A lot of moms are very specifically focused on individual ingredients. For example, half of moms are concerned about sugar. About half of moms are concerned about high fructose corn syrup, but only a quarter of moms are concerned about what I think is the important issue, which is the total number of calories in the diet. So you might say, well, why are people so concerned about high fructose corn syrup? And I think it's because there is a misperception that has been propagated in a lot of places, particularly on the internet, that high fructose corn syrup is associated with obesity, and that's just not. It's not true. There's no unique link between high fructose corn syrup and obesity.
I mean, we just got done listening to a study, not just opinions on how high fructose corn syrup increases your LDL. So where is he getting his information from? And why does he work for the corn refiners? I think it's kind of odd that these people are spreading this information when they have no facts, but then again, they're on the high fructose corn syrup side, and so they can just say whatever they want to say, which I think is ridiculous because there is facts shown that this is unhealthy. This sugar overload is hurting our children. I mean, and you have to look for this stuff, people. There was this study talking about financial conflicts of interest on reporting biases regarding the association between sugar-sweetened beverages and weight gain. So people are paying these studies off so we don't get this information out. There's something wrong, guys. I put this in there. They think there is food in our food. Pretty much sugar is in everything. So, do we have the right to know what we're eating? Of course. So, reading these labels. The FDA is actually trying to change the way that food labels are looked at. So you could see how it was current and what they're trying to change it to.
And the First Lady today heralded a new generation of nutrition labels at an event at the White House. So for the very first time in more than 20 years, the FDA is proposing changing the labels to clear the confusion about really what it is we're eating. So here are just some of the changes the FDA is proposing. First up, let's talk calories, the calorie count. You see the number? Calorie count that more accurately reflects what a person will eat of the product, and quite a bit bigger there on the label as well, font-wise. Percentages of vitamins and nutrients on the left to make it easier to follow, and pointing out not just sugar, but specifically the manufactured sugar that so many food experts say is really the contributing factor to the obesity epidemic in this country.
So the food industries are not happy. Here's some of the industries that are having a problem with this new system. And I thought this was funny. I know everybody has seen this commercial, but cranberries are naturally low in sugar, giving them a distinctively tart, astringent, and even unpalatable taste. In other words, please don't make us tell everyone how much sugar we cram into all of our products. So did y'all know? So when I was looking at this and someone said a Coke has 44 grams of sugar, I really didn't think much to that. But then when you look into its 11 teaspoons, that is a lot. So if we just change up how we're labeling the sugars, I think a lot of people would understand how much sugar things have in it. And then, they put these little labels like kids eat right. Let's have them eat this processed cheese just because it says that this is a healthy product. But it's not. But they can just put that on there. So is everybody cheesed off right now? So this is what you have to do. You have to read your labels. So yes, you want to decrease the amount of sugar from the sugar part of the labels, but you also want to look at the ingredients and try to have only 5 ingredients in the stuff that you buy, and try not to have high fructose corn syrup in your ingredients. I mean, in some formulas, that's the number 1 ingredient. So make sure you're looking at that formula, guys. Oh, and then make sure you're reading the added sugars. We do have a nutrition guide at the office, so even if you're not a patient, come by and pick one up. I think it's really helpful, and it goes over what to avoid and why sugar is bad for us. And then just try to eat food without a label. So I tell people, eat food that God made, not man-made. So eat real food, meat, fish, eggs, vegetable, fruit, healthy oils, nuts, and seeds. Choose from foods that are raised from fed and grown naturally, and foods that are nutrient dense with lots of naturally occurring vitamins and minerals. On our list of foods that we have at the office, it does give you some options and some recipes and just a lot of good information. So come by the office and get that. So chiropractic is your blueprint for health, because we know that 90% of the time people are not eating well. We tell people to try to eat 80-20. 80% of the time good, 20% of the bad. I think if you could do that, our lives would be a lot healthier. But there is that 20% of the time, and that's why we need to get adjusted. When we get adjusted, we're pretty much clearing out our spine so our bodies can adapt to all these stressors just a little better. So we are starting in February 1st, us and our team, a 21-day purification program. And so we're inviting all of you and all of our friends and family to join us for our 21-day purification program. It is a hard program, but it's a great thing to detox your body, to start it on the right foot for this year and get things going. So once you do these cleanse, like when I do them, I don't crave caffeine, I don't crave chocolate, so it helps you get started in the right direction. So if you're interested, come by the office and give us your information and we will order you a cleanse. So thank you for taking time today and listening to our presentation on sugar. We are T3 Chiropractic. We are creating a healthy community, one family at a time.